Texas!
He's a 10.
I choose this family.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 80 of 911 Lone Star Roundup. I'm one of your hosts, Katie, and with me are my lovely co-hosts, Grace.
Hi, everyone.
And EJ.
Hey, everybody.
So today we'll be sharing our promo theories, just our annual theories episode for Lone Star for season 4, which now is airing on January 24th. They did push it back a week and stuff, which is kind of annoying, but we're almost there. It just gives you a little bit more time to catch up if you want to, rewatch if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be
more
sharing
suspense build.
but we'll be sharing everything we know for the season and our thoughts and just everything that's out there, I guess. So yeah, I guess let's get to it.
So much to go through.
Well, yeah.
A little bit content heavy.
I know I mentioned it last episode, but we're at episode 80. Huge milestone for us. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit weird when they posted last week saying that this is on Friday of last week. So literally,
oh my God, I know,
a day after we recorded, which I thought was kind of funny because I don't remember what context it was, but I just thought it was funny. But I remember seeing it and I was I thought it was a joke at first because I was just because the post was something oh, don't be mad at this, but and I was just I texted you guys the second I saw it and I was what the fuck is this?
What the actual heck is this?
I was okay. And I know everyone was mad for days. I got over it in a day. I was whatever.
Yeah, I was a little perplexed, but it's gonna air when it's gonna air. We're still getting it. It's not like they suddenly announced that, God forbid, it's canceled. I had to whisper that. It's not anything like that. So
yeah, there were just other scheduling things they had to bump up, and I'd rather them bump it up so we actually get that and not have it preempted halfway through because of some other thing going on. So
yeah, we do. It's not like we're having to have a break or something. We're still doing it, just a little bit longer. And hey, it's still coming.
Yeah, just think about it's gonna be we're gonna get it a week longer technically.
Yeah,
fair.
So,
that's true.
So yeah, let's talk about the very little promos that they've released.
Is this the first season aside from season 1 where we've not gotten much for promos?
Honestly, this is probably the latest season for promos because I remember last year they posted more promos even though they were probably 15 to 30 second promos, but I feel last season was very promo heavy. Even season 2, it wasn't super heavy, but we still I feel got more than we did here. I feel this season it was very picture heavy, still heavy than actual promo video heavy.
And that has me very interested because when you don't get a lot of promo, and we get this a lot with 911 if we're being honest, Lone Star is usually the more promo heavy of the two, but usually something big is about to happen when they're not dropping a lot.
They're hiding something.
They're definitely hiding a lot, and I'm I don't know if I want to like this yet.
Right,
we're gonna see.
Yeah. So, in the first ever promo we ever got, this is probably back in November. We see Owen showing up at the 126 on a motorcycle.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Is actually the thought I had when I first saw that. I was okay. And then Judd
honestly, he can carry it off.
Oh yeah. And then Judd says, you ain't living your best life. And Owen says, my best life is when I have dragons to slay. And then, we don't, it's funny because we don't even know the context of this, but okay, we see it. And then we see the carnival, which, we've kind of known we're getting, some type of, fair carnival thing for a while, but it was just being played out in the promos. And we see porta potties flying in the sky, just in the air, high winds, obviously. So some type of storm, heavy rains.
All I'm imagining is being the poor bastard trapped in the porta potty when it goes dark.
Which, yeah, we'll get to who is later because honestly, when I first saw it, I was well, I don't know if somebody's actually in there. Like, I didn't really think about it at first, but there is somebody in there, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But and then Owen's yelling how it's raining frogs, and Grace is like, "Excuse me, did you just say frogs?" Like, and stuff. Like, it's likely like just her hearing this over the radio, but I think that's funny. Which,
like, isn't that one of the plagues in the Bible?
Yeah, which the frog
isn't it gnats? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's something like that. I don't know.
It's something
Like,
with frogs.
It's not like super like, okay, flying maybe is kind of a little weird, but it's not like totally not weird. It's slightly weird just because they're flying, but not totally weird.
Kind of reminds me of that episode or that scene in Twister where all of a sudden she's like, we've got cows, and there's a cow that like goes across their vision, and then it comes back and she's like, we got other cows, and like, no, I think that's the same one. I love that movie.
Then Marjan is just like disgusted at the whole fact, and so then Mateo always has to be like, that was even weirder than the volcano, and Marjan's just like, nothing is as weird as lava at mini golf.
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
That is true. That's true.
That is true. I feel like that's just Mateo's always like, oh, like, it's not as weird as like one of the last emergencies we've had. Like, I feel like that's just always that. And then we saw Happy, TK, and like Carlos at the station, which yes, show me my babies.
Yes.
My boys.
Yeah, my boys. And then like the storm we see Judd, Tommy singing at church, and it looks like the girls are a part of that, like Tommy's girls. We see Carlos like at the 126 waiting. Then we see like Judd saying that just wait around a minute, something awful's gonna go down any minute. So, like, that's just like
it's like jinxing everything. It's like, of course.
Okay, but yeah. And then we see like the 126 shielding somebody in the storm, and then they have like those parachute thingies from like elementary school. I was just like, yeah. And then we got like a mini-year promo. So like basically all the stuff that we have gotten that was also there, but we see like Carlos at lunch with his mom in his uniform. We see like Tommy in the back of the ambulance, like, and stuff, like as a medic. I don't want that to make it sound like she's actually her.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Working, not a patient.
Working, yeah, exactly. We see, and Marjan's like, you guys hear that? Storm's coming. And then we see like Owen at the carnival in his gear, like a few of that, and we see the storm and like people running, the porta potties flying again, the frogs, Marjan, Owen yelling people to take cover. And then Owen says something which I feel like Owen does is every friggin' emergency, every friggin' storm that happens on this show. Owen's like, you ever seen anything like this before? Like, Owen,
no, not usually.
Not usually, exactly.
Like, we don't usually see porta potties flying through the air.
Owen, that's such, like, I'm sorry, but Owen, that's so dumbass. Like, because it's just like, are you kidding me? Who has seen frogs flying, porta potties flying, like, just this random-ish stuff? Like, nobody has seen this. And I guarantee he's, like, asking, like, Judd, have you ever seen this before? Like, no. I want somebody to be like, no.
Surprisingly, no. In my vast experience, no.
Literally.
I'm like, part of me wants to say, like, dude, you've been a fire captain for at least 20 years, or firefighter for at least 20 years. You can't tell me you haven't seen some strange things. I mean, I know New York doesn't have the same type of weather that Texas gets, but still.
Yeah, definitely. And then like someone falls out of like one of the rides into like a parachute. And like obviously there was like few repeat like lines and stuff. Then they released like a interview sneak peek thing. We saw like a clip of like SWAT. Carlos is carrying a woman out, which we found out very quickly. This is just right after I think the news came out. Is Iris, Michelle's sister, is the woman he was carrying out.
Yeah.
Her head looks a little there's blood on her head and she's unconscious. So I'm interested to see what that is
Yeah, really.
all about. It's kind of weird. And I think we were talking about this just in general last week, like off the podcast about like, yeah, we kind of forgot about Iris.
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot she existed.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Grace brought that up.
Yeah,
I
it's funny.
forgot she existed.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about it because like the whole first season was all about Carlos and Michelle looking for her. And then it was mentioned once at the beginning of season 2 in the first episode about going to help like her sister Michelle. And then we haven't really heard anything about Michelle or his sister. So I'm like really curious to see what this brings up.
Right. And like season 4 is supposedly quite the ride, so they say.
I swear.
There's, I don't know, a fire call shown. We see like the weather phenomenon. Like it's like they claim massively different than anything we've ever seen. Well, yeah, I would hope every
I'm a
like
little
emergency.
scared by this point.
Yeah.
Every single time that they say that there's something we've never seen before, they usually right. And the thing is that they're starting to run out of things that I would somewhat expect, which makes me even more scared.
See, I wanted like a huge storm, like thunderstorm, like this kind of storm, just because I feel like I was racking through my brains. Probably was like thinking of like all the things they could do probably after season 2, and like this is one of the things I was like, okay, they could do that and stuff. But yeah, so then we see like the raining frogs, the car crashes to the ticket booth, and then one part of the storm looks almost like hail to me.
Yeah,
so that's interesting. And then what are the latest promos, like little ones we got? People were saying this aired on TV, and I actually saw a clip that somebody videoed from TV. So we see like again Carlos with his mom at lunch, which is going to be interesting. And I think this is kind of when I know, and we haven't seen Gabriel. I just looked this up today since season 2. We didn't see him last season. And Andrea was in the beginning of season 3.
Which we do love that. She had a complete queen moment there.
I was just thinking, but Benito Martinez has been doing a lot of stuff, and he's filming, I think, another show. I think he's doing one for Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It's like, go
scheduling.
Yeah. I think he's supposed to. I think I heard he was supposed to come back for this season.
I've seen pictures of him. I've seen pictures of him on set.
That's what I thought.
They released a picture of him leaning against the fire truck, and then the one with the picture of TK and him in like civilian clothes.
Oh yeah, there are a few people posted. I'm like, this is from season 2. You're not fooling me.
I love when people try to repost like promo photos or photos from a season to act as if they're new, and we're like, guys, anyone who watched this is gonna know. It's like that sound, they're gonna know. How would they know? They're gonna know.
Right.
Yeah. So and then so like we mentioned earlier, there's somebody in the porta potty that's flying, and it's actually the guy that was in ATX Files and the tornado episode. The guy and the girl, they're gonna be back again apparently. So he's in the porta potty.
Oh my god, is he because it's the one that the kid went into the gun safe, right? With his girlfriend. Oh my god.
They're gonna be back again?
Oh my god.
Bro, are these just a reoccurring satire characters?
I'm like, what else could freaking happen? I really hope there's not like, I hope things are okay with them, like also I love that they're having like characters from Calls come back, but I'm also like, can we bring somebody else back? Like I would have loved to see the racist lady back and be at the carnival and just have like something go down with that. But like I love that they're coming back, don't get me wrong, but it's just funny and stuff. And like there's like you see a lot of heat stroke like victims, and okay, so like then Mateo's like, oh, it's like 122 degrees, which does happen. I feel like people are gonna be like, that doesn't happen. No, it does happen in Texas. Like it's very rare. It's very rare, but it does happen. Like I think the last time that it happened was like in the 50s. 120 degrees. Obviously it still gets very hot sometimes, especially in the summer. Which a lot of people are talking timeline, and they're like, oh, like how long is timeline? I guess if they're going for like this, it would have to be like maybe like 3 to 4 months after like the finale.
Right.
Just because if you're gonna like have a fair, it's not gonna be in January.
Yeah.
It's going to be in like August or September.
Yeah, most of them are in the late summer, early fall.
Right. Yeah.
So if we're looking at setting records, because I just looked it up a little bit, and what I can seem to see is that it's not unusual for it to go into the 100 and teens. Last time I went to 120 degrees, though, was in August of 1936 and in June of 1994. So it's not often, but it's not impossible.
Right.
That's literally.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's one more. It frequently does reach the hundreds in Texas.
Oh yeah.
And with the
more
climate
common.
the way it is,
Oh yeah.
we're not a thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it looks like somebody was stuck in like one of those dunk tank things.
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
That's terrifying. And then like
Yeah.
they're telling somebody that they like to jump out of one of the rides, and stuff. And like Owen's like, we'll catch you. And then Owen says, like, am I the only one that feels like the calm is on the other side of the storm? And you're just like, Owen, why?
Right.
Like, he literally said something like that last season in the beginning. It was like before the storm hits. It's like, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
Like, that's what you don't say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten just little nuggets of differences. It's not like, and there's still not a lot of separate stuff. Like all of it seems to be gearing towards like that first maybe couple episodes. Because like I don't know if this epic call or emergency is going to be considered like the first 2 episodes or something. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they're hiding.
Yeah. So like just other things. Obviously, we talked about this a little bit, that Iris is back,
Yeah.
and stuff, which is funny. And then like there's a few like new characters. The guy that plays Sergeant O'Brien is actually coming back this season, which when that came out, we were all like, ooh, huh?
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, yeah, especially because I saw a preview or a picture of Carlos with the like assault rifle, and then looking like he's dressed for SWAT as well, and then like Sergeant O'Brien is not dressed, like he's in civilian clothes. I'm like, why are they in there? Because I know Carlos had mentioned in like the episode he was in, he's like, I don't even know if the guy knows I exist. And
Oh
all
yeah.
of a sudden Carlos is working alongside him.
Well, I think the thing people were like saying last season when they did the softball episode was like, oh, like, you know, like maybe it's like Carlos is on his team, and it's like you don't even know that like they work at the same police precinct.
Right, because there's several in Austin, I'm sure.
Just like in any city, there are multiple police stations. There's not just one.
Right.
Doesn't matter how big or how small the city is, there's usually more than one.
Right.
It's rather like fire stations, believe it or not, you know. Everyone has a jurisdiction. Certain police stations have different jurisdictions. It all depends on how big the area is. And guess what? Austin's rather large.
Yeah, so I can
So they're
imagine
gonna
they
have
have
multiple-
hundreds.
Right.
Like, yeah. And then so we have a few new characters. We have DB Woodside will be recurring as Trevor, a wholesome, charismatic father and preacher. His new job has brought him and his daughter to Texas, but their new city greets with kind of a rare danger storm, which obviously we know all about that. And then we're going to be getting like a FBI agent, Rose Casey, who is investigating the members of an extremist group. She believes the group is planning a dangerous act and needs Owen's help gathering evidence to strengthen the case. Okay, why are we asking Owen?
Why does
That is why I'm very confused here.
Like,
I need
we're not
some
Owen
link.
haters over here, so we don't care. Like, we
No,
don't care,
I
but it
love-
also
it's
doesn't
just-
make sense.
I
he's
love
a
when
fire
Owen gets a
captain.
time to shine. So unless he has some connection, they have to form a link here. They have to form a link on why Owen Strand, captain of the 126, is being asked to assist. Did he witness something? Is he
I highly
somehow
doubt
connected to one of the... I don't know. but it's like it has to have a connection. You don't just come in and ask. This is
Right.
out of a fan fiction, okay?
It really is, because like, why are you asking a fire captain? Okay, first of all, why don't you ask the police officer like to help with the case, not
Even the police officer's father, who actually is a Texas Ranger, who's like the Texas version of the FBI.
yeah.
Pretty much. So like I would see it more as this person comes in, talks to Gabriel, who talks to Carlos, who maybe Carlos finds out that Owen has some knowledge on a particular sort of topic. I
Yeah,
do not see
that's
the
what I'm
link
thinking.
between a special FBI agent coming in and being like, oh, let's talk to a random fucking fire captain.
The only thing
Honestly,
the
I'm
so
sure
random.
they will make this work, but I don't see how.
The Owen
the only
haters
thing-
already hate it, so just
right.
saying.
Well, the only
All
thing
the
I can
haters
think
hate
of,
everything. Like they need to shut the fuck up.
only thing
Slight
I can-
offense to those listening who are Owen haters.
Like, I understand, like, I get like giving Owen cases that he really shouldn't get, and if this is one of those cases,
Sure.
I'll be like, okay, I'll give you that one, but like,
Yeah, absolutely.
because that's how I'm feeling about it so far. Like, we're just trying to give Owen like the part of the story.
the
Mm,
only thing I can think of that would make sense is that the dangerous attack that they're thinking may happen is going to cause panic, as well as probably a hazmat situation or something where the fire department may have to consult or help or be the first responders in something, and they need their help to kind of coordinate that. And since he's from New York and probably did a lot of those hazardous material bomb threat type drills and terrorist attack drills in New York, he may have a little more familiarity with that. But that's the only thing I could think that would make sense, because I don't think he's going to be a witness. Like I don't know. It's going to be weird. And I love Owen, I do, but yeah, this is not up his
Yeah.
alley.
it's just the thing is that I have some general trust in the Lone Star writers. I've
Oh,
lost
yeah,
a little bit
same.
of my trust in the 9-1 writers simply because of the whole buddy issue and some other interesting plot lines that they've let come through. Taylor. But surrogacy or whatever the thing was, sperm donor, whatever. Anyhow, that's a whole nother episode. Lone Star hasn't really lost my trust on that. So I generally believe they will be able to make whatever this is work. Again, I just don't really see how, in the context that we have at this point in time, like what the actual but again, we are working with very sparse information at the moment.
Yeah.
They are really not letting a lot go on the season. So who knows? I'm very interested, but at the same time, I'm going to be disappointed if they lose the links with the actual police officers in this. Like, give Gabriel some screen time. Give Carlos some screen time.
I would love
Like,
to see them work
give-
together.
Me too.
Please, I need them to. I so desperately want them to work together. Please.
Like, yes.
I need this moment.
I'm like slightly like excited about that. Like, I don't know what's gonna entail, but I'm slightly excited about that. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Like, Rookie Feds is like my favorite thing right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So then a while ago they teased lines we're gonna supposedly be getting this season.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those
I
were
love
interesting.
dialogue.
I
love dialogue, man.
I
I'm
love
like,
dialogue,
no.
no context.
Mhm.
Like,
Same.
like
Literally, some of my favorite ones are like some of my favorite random videos are just scenes with no context.
Oh, I
Right.
love that kind of stuff. Okay, so Owen says, "Look, I know what you're all thinking, midlife crisis," which obviously has to do
I
with the
think
motorcycle.
everybody's thinking that. Yes, that's-
Because we're all thinking of that. Honestly, I
Listen,
feel like
he's going through a midlife crisis. I almost said motorcycle crisis. He's going through a midlife crisis in just about every season.
I was just about to say the
So-
same exact thing. So yes. then we have Carlos saying, "Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to," which that likely has to do with the supposed secret or whatever's supposed to come out, which everyone has been going crazy about. Like, when that
There's
came
so many
out,
theories.
like when that came out, I was
Sorry, that's the
talking
only
about
response.
it, and people were like giving me the most crazy theories I've ever heard in my life, and I'm like, I don't think any of this is gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. I thought I saw somebody say something like, "Oh, Carlos has a kid." I'm like,
Somebody said that to
what?
me. Somebody said, "Oh, maybe he was married, maybe he had a kid." I'm like,
Something just died
no.
inside. I'm just
Hey.
gonna say, like, I just felt some part of me just died.
I
I'm trying to
love
think of the
people
other
having
crazy ones I got, because obviously I got
I
a
would give
lot.
them that.
There
Oh,
are
I've
a lot
heard
of
so much
weird
about
ones.
like just a lot of the theories I've heard, and I'm not even on freaking social media all that much. But a lot of what I've heard, like from you guys, is that at some point he thought he was straight. Like
I've never
that he had
heard
something
somebody say that. I don't think somebody said that.
Like, did we miss the memo where
like
he
in
came
the
out
way
to his
that he was
parents at
with a woman
17?
at some point.
I don't know where people are getting that from. Like, I don't think people are thinking that I honestly don't think people are actually thinking like, oh, he was with a woman. I think people are thinking that maybe, I
Well,
don't even know
how
what
else do
people are
they think
thinking.
children come into the world?
I don't know. Maybe they thought like,
Just saying,
maybe they
uterus
thought,
havers are a fab app.
I don't know.
Generally,
I honestly think that
taking
somebody
aside
thought,
intersex people.
I honestly think somebody thought that like he got a circuit or something, or whoever he was with got one. I honestly
As a
think that's the thing.
teenager,
I don't think they meant as a teenager. Like, okay, Carlos is what, Max? Like probably 30. He could have been a
not
young
even. I'm
20-year-old.
yeah, it could have been.
So late 20s, if
There
anything.
is a large hole in their lives that we don't know about, but at the same time, no.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
That's
anything
too
like a
out there.
kid or a lover or anything like that. I feel like it's too obvious. Like it's too obvious and out there thing.
And I don't think whatever's gonna come out is going to be as dramatic as they're making it seem. I think it's not even gonna be that complicated.
I don't think so. I don't even know what to think, but
I don't either.
I'm kind of happy to just let it sit back and just kind of go. See
Yeah,
what
pretty
happens.
much.
Again, faith in the Lone Star writers because they're
Yeah.
good and they've given us some key content. But I'm just gonna not even speculate for myself on this one. Like, I'm a little scared too.
Yeah. And then the next one is pretty obvious, but it's That Boy's Got 9 Lives, and we all know who they're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
actually, I don't think I know.
Oh, I think we have to rewatch everything that's ever happened to have an idea.
No idea.
Surely it's not what's his face? Carlos's love interest. We never really see him. Never has anything happen to him.
It couldn't be TK.
Really?
Really?
I wouldn't know.
He's gotten hurt in the show?
Really?
Really? I can't believe
You must be wrong. I mean, I swear, I know everything that happens.
I was gonna let it play off and like release this episode as if we had no idea.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, obviously it's TK.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That was a little fun.
If they're talking about anything else, my jaw will be on the floor.
I was thinking the
because
same
then
thing.
it'll be dirty.
I was thinking the same thing.
Especially it's Judd saying that. Like, clearly
it has to be TK.
He's saying that. Yeah.
Okay. This one gives no context, but
no context whatsoever.
But no way, Marjan saying, and I'm like, I want to know what that's about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested.
And then TK saying his pulse is dropping, which, okay, thank God it's not you.
I know.
Like, we can live. If
it was either of the other two paramedics, I would be like,
I have too much trauma from like in the beginning of last season, like the first 4 episodes for like anything like that to happen. Like, give us a break. Like, give us
Right.
the break we deserve. Hurt
Like,
somebody else.
It's rather like what happened on 901, the role that they got of injuring Buck every twice a season, just about. I don't know if it was quite twice a season, but every season.
Honestly.
And now we're like, can we please do something to Eddie at some point? And then he got freaking shot. So that happens. We eventually get what we want, just sometimes a little over what we wanted. But this is kind of, again, a repeat. We're getting a lot of TK getting hurt. And it's content. It's great content, but at the same time, can we focus on someone else
Yeah.
getting hurt for a while? Like, please.
And then the latest one, I think they just posted this one a few weeks ago. It was like on one of their pictures. It was like, so I punched him. And this is Owen saying it. And it's like, why am I not surprised?
And Owen, please tell me we are just recounting something that happened a couple seasons ago, not a new
Oh
thing.
yeah, that would be
Yeah,
that would be actually
I
be
hope so.
better.
I'm
Well,
hoping
we know it's
that.
not Billy. That's for sure.
Mm,
Oh, yeah. And then one
Yeah.
of the interviews that like I think this was in one of the interviews, like a multi-show interview, so it's like one thing from each show, and this is like something that I believe Rafa commented on, but like it says right off from episode 1, we're going to find out some things that are funny, but it propels onto several beautiful episodes after the first one, and it's going to be intense. It's going to be fun to watch and fun to do. Like what Ronan said, you can't really expect much because things change a lot. Whether you think it's gonna happen, Tim always brings something better than what your imagination can perceive. I think the fun part is just waiting to find out what actually happens. And I'm like, okay, when this first released, I was like, okay, what the hell does any of this mean?
yeah, pretty much.
Rafa.
Rafa, darling, please.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I think the show is ever evolving, and they may start the season going one direction and they'll change to another one, or I don't know. So I'm it's very ominous for sure, and they kind of have to be. So, but it's like I personally am trying not to just read between the lines on that. I'm just like taking for what it is. That you may start the season thinking this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't, or it does and it changes or something. So, amen.
Which, yeah, I always talk about everything as it's happened. So I've talked about almost everything that has been released, and I don't even remember because this was months ago when this was put out there.
Right.
I don't even remember what I said, but I was just like, what does this mean? What?
Yeah.
There were other things like that I believe Tim was saying, like, oh, everything leads to a wedding. And I'm like, but what does that mean?
Right. Everything this season is going to lead to TK and Carlos getting married.
I'm like, as long as they get a wedding,
I'm suddenly concerned.
I'm not concerned. Okay, I'm not.
I just.
They make me
I was
like
joking.
Yeah, at first they like things they said, I was like, should I be worried? What kind of feelings should I have? What is socially acceptable?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very excited about everything. Like honestly, today I just feel just such a like excitement high. Like I'm just so excited. Like I don't even know what to feel
So
anymore.
much.
Yeah.
Like even with the little bit that we've gotten content wise, we have a lot. And it's a high.
Exactly. And like it'll be back in 12 days from when we were recording, which is exciting.
Right.
So I'm just starting to feel it. Like, yeah, we were at like, I don't know, like 12 days when they changed the date.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, here we go.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And so we've gotten lots of pictures. Lots of them. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. So you got like, on his motorcycle, some of like the paramedic team, some of the call, and in one of the pictures you can literally see the girl like from both the episodes, just her. I think her name was Brianna. Was that her?
Yeah.
I think that's what her name was. Yeah.
The one
you can
where
see her in the
Grace tells
background.
her get yourself a new boyfriend.
Yeah, she didn't listen. But like,
She should have.
kind of hoping, like, okay, I'm kind of hoping that like just things are great, you know, like, because like he wasn't a bad guy. He was just such a freaking baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just
They don't always grow out of that.
Yeah.
So I hope he's growing out of that, or she's going to find herself a new boyfriend. Because
I don't. Yeah. We'll
Honey,
see.
she can do better.
the waiting game is how long until she realizes she can do better.
Right. Then we
It's always
see.
interesting.
Then we see the 126, like all of them, like staring at probably the TV.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's rather.
And then we see a picture of Carlos and TK. Carlos has like his hands on like TK's arms, and see all the Carlos pictures is like one of the first pictures we gotten. Like people are all freaking out, and I'm like, every time somebody freak out, I'd be like, okay, I don't get why anybody's freaking out, because what can you get off of a picture?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just a picture. Like there's nothing, because there's another picture that's like TK's on the couch and like Carlos sits down with him, which is so adorable. Like, yes, I love it. And I'm just like, what is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's just a picture. What, guys, you're crazy. I still think people are a little bit crazy. And then we see Judd,
sure.
Grace, and Charlie, which, yes,
so adorable.
Yes.
And yeah, we had that picture with Carlos and the
Sergeant O'Brien.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out his name for a good second.
That's
which
fair.
is weird. Lots of Carlos content, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that picture of Gabriel and TK. I kind of forgot about all of these because I just like screenshot everything and forget about it. Talk about it little by little.
Well, and that picture says a lot too, because it looks like there's police cars. They're going into some sort of police take. They're going on a scene of some kind, a crime scene, or I don't know. Yeah, that's there's a lot in that.
Yeah, and we know that like, so Carlos is gonna come in contact, which people have been predicting. Oh my god, it's Iris. Okay, people have the most ridiculous things, because before that was even announced, people were saying that, and then before that people are like, because it was like Carlos, something happens to Carlos when he's like, somebody like goes missing or something, and people are like, oh my god, it's Michelle. Oh my god, it's Iris. Oh my god, it's whoever. And I'm just like,
I'm pretty sure they just pulled that out of their like hats.
They did, because okay, and like I had the thought where like, we don't know that Michelle is still in Texas. She could have easily like moved on with her work to a different city or even a different state. So and like, let's just be honest, I really don't think Liv Tyler is going to come back to Lone Star.
I can't imagine. For one thing, I'm sure she's on other projects. Also, she is across the ocean, most likely, still. I can't imagine that for a show with probably a minimal appearance, she'd come back. Because it's not like they're replacing Tommy with her, so it's not like she'd be coming back substantially, or even likely for more than a couple episodes. Like, of course, I wouldn't mind seeing Michelle come back, but do I think it's likely? No.
She could stay gone.
That's fair enough. I did not mind Michelle, but I did not form any lasting attachment to her because she only stayed for one season. So I do not personally care whether or not she comes back.
Right.
I'd be fine if she just came back for their wedding.
Oh yeah, I
would not say no to that.
She was apparently one of Carlos's best friends, so I would hope she would come back. But
yeah,
however, I would also see her coming back in a Zoom call kind of format.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, honestly, that would be nice to just pop that in there. But also, like, I'd be like, obviously, I'd want her come back for the wedding, but I could see them doing something like they did when Abby came back in 911 for that one episode. Like, just to have one episode thing, clear it up. I would be okay with it in that instant.
Because I feel like we did have her quitting to help her sister more. And so, like now that we have Iris, I'm hoping we do get at least information on Michelle and what she's
Yeah.
doing. So I'd love an update, a little bit of closure on that. Just enough to wrap up the storyline finally. Again, like Abby. And then never again. Except
Right.
maybe when.
We see Carlos come by the station for lunch. Yes, gotta have it.
I live for this.
And I love how people zoomed in on the box that Carlos is eating out of, and it actually says TK on it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cute.
It does actually.
Yeah.
I just zoomed in on it. Yeah, it does.
So many things like I love the one with Owen and TK and Carlos's face is just like what?
Right.
What's
Oh,
He
going
yeah.
looks so concerned. And
I
then
want-
TK's like, and I don't know how to describe it.
TK's, yeah, that was interesting.
But there's
Um,
someone else's hand in the photo, and I'm wondering who it is.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that? Hang on, is it Marshawn? I don't know. It's somebody.
No.
It looks like a female's hand in a
It
sweater.
does,
girls?
even if just because of the type of sweater.
It looks like.
It doesn't look Marjan.
Well, it for sure looks like, because
Mm.
Owen looks like he's trying to like defend himself, and then like it almost is like Carlos is trying to like what's going on, and TK's kind of trying to hold him back. So this is what I'm getting, because TK's got like a death grip on Carlos's shoulder.
I mean, maybe it's Iris. I don't know. Like there are a lot of questions. All I did was notice that it is a different hand. Like it didn't belong
Yeah.
to any of them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I honestly think it's somebody different.
Maybe. Like it's not Grace because the hand is lighter, but
Right. Yeah.
Well, there I've run out of like ideas for female characters.
Yeah. That's why I
Catherine?
kind of think it's somebody
Catherine
new.
Maybe.
Hasn't been confirmed, but I don't know. Because I thought that too.
We'll
Because
see.
I was like, it could be, but I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
I
find
don't
out
know.
eventually.
The face is interesting. Whatever it is.
And then we see Tommy coming to see Grace at work, which I'm interested what that has to do with. Lots of pictures of like baby Charlie. Yes, love to see it. There's one that looks to be at a hospital, and Carlos is wearing glasses. Yes, love to see it.
Love.
I love the
I'm like,
glasses.
what is going on there? I really
don't,
want to
at this point,
know.
I don't care.
Well, I mean, TK is out in the waiting room with them.
So
Yeah,
it
so
doesn't
it's
matter
not
what
TK.
happens.
I was like, it's not TK. Yes,
not
I was
TK.
thinking that too.
It's not TK or Carlos, which I wouldn't care if it was Carlos, because like that'd be some good emotional drama. But
Yeah. We have someone whose face is not in view. We have Judd, we have TK, we have Carlos, and we have Nancy. That's it. So it's up in the air who it could be. Then we have Paul looking very, very nice.
very
Just
fine.
Very fine. He is a
Then we have
fine man.
Carlos sad
Not
eyes.
looking so like he looks a little upset about something.
Carlos sad eyes. Well,
cat
Carlos.
light.
Yeah.
The sad
Which-
cat lights.
Everyone is like freaking out about these little things, and I'm like, we don't even know why. And also, like, emotion is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
like it could be just a heavy emotional moment.
Yeah, we have this picture of Paul and Judd. Love to see it.
I
Lots of
love it.
like, we have lots of like firehouse things.
Ooh,
more of, like,
casual clothes, but outside in the wild. Interesting. Yeah.
I'm really
Mhm.
interested to see what that is. We have like Tommy and TK. Like, yes, looks like
Heart to
it's
heart in the
like
bunk room.
Yes,
yes,
that's from what okay. So
I
from what
know that.
from what I've heard, this is a scene that TK's pissed in, and it supposedly involves something that Carlos shared with him, and he's upset, and some people are saying he's seeking advice from Tommy.
I could totally see that. Also, Tommy is basically the mom of the firehouse, so like
yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Owen is the dad.
Because she
So is Judd. Judd is also
Yeah,
a little bit of the dad figure.
and
And
Tommy
then
and Judd are-
Tommy is the mom.
yeah, Tommy and Jed are the only ones that have actually ever had decent marriage relationships too. So this could be just like
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Relationship
True, some advice. Yeah.
Okay, then we have like the one from the fair with Carlos and Paul. Love to see it. Like put Carlos right front and center in that
Yeah.
Yes, thank
emergency.
you.
Um,
Some stills of Owen.
yeah, we have a few Owen. Just like behind the scenes wise, we have like Judd and TK, which yes, get them a scene together. It feels like it's been
Hate it.
forever.
Bro,
Yes.
That was, like, my
the only one
favorite.
coming to mind is Judd teaching TK to drive the engine.
Yeah, and that was in
Why is
season
it the
two.
only one? Why is it the only
Yeah.
one? I know they've interacted since then.
I don't think
But,
it's
like, that
been
is the
like
only one coming to
solely in
mind.
season 3 though. I think it was season 2 that was solely.
Yeah, not one-on-one, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a
I'm
minute.
not able to come up with anything.
Lots of the, them having lunch at the firehouse. It's great. I just love that Carlos shows up and stuff.
Hmm.
And then like everyone's favorite is like Carlos with the long gun.
Oh, they're getting chimichanga. Sorry, I just zoomed in on that bag.
Um,
Oh, yeah. And then Carlos with the gun.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, and Rafa had posted like a video of it like months ago, and I'm just like, yes, give us
Yeah.
all the content because those are my favorite episodes. Like Carlos
I
content.
know not on social media all that much at this point, but I have seen like Rafa doing firearm training. So I find
Mhm.
that also really cool because that means that he's not just holding it up. Like he's not
Right.
just holding it with no freaking idea what he's doing
Yeah.
anyway.
Right, which and
Like he knows
like,
how to hold the gun. He knows how, even if it is a pop, he knows how to handle, which is
Right.
important for authenticity.
Right. Which any good
And also
show,
he-
like they require their actors
Yeah.
to like properly know how to. If shows aren't doing that, it's not a good show.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to have some sort of realism because, like, a gun has a kick to it when you fire it, and if you don't act like there is a one, it's not realistic. So I'm really glad to
Mhm.
see it, and I know there's been times where he's actually gone to the gun range that Christiane, Ryan's wife, works at,
Mhm.
which is really awesome to see that connection. But I don't know if this is that, because I know what you're talking about, Grace. I saw that one too, and I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool. And he's not just doing like shooting a gun, like he's actually doing the training that some of the military and cops do to learn,
Right.
and that's awesome.
Mhm. Always good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And then there was a picture taken very early on that was kind of like TK.
Yes. Yeah.
Like there was not even TK. There was a picture that was like just behind the scenes picture of like a synagogue and somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know, it
Wasn't
was
there
posted.
like wasn't a window with like stained glass Star of David or something? Like
I think
I
so.
vaguely know what you're talking about.
I don't remember seeing that, but I don't.
I vaguely
missed days here and there.
Yeah,
I
mean,
could be wrong
none
on
of the
even the
like
Star of
actual
David, but I feel like
cast posted it, so like,
Mm-hmm.
so up in the air on that one, but it might be a thing.
and
I hope
I
so.
know, yeah, honestly, and I know like Ronan had posted a story like of them and Swag here, so like that probably has to do with those other storylines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see that.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon.
And I wonder if that relates to the
paramedics.
terrorist attack.
It probably
the
does.
It probably does. But yeah,
Because very few other instances can I think of where firefighters would be dressed in SWAT gear.
it's not uncommon, though. I mean, because
It's not
Yeah,
uncommon,
I've
but
seen
like
in other
in the
shows.
show,
right?
yeah, in the show, that
Yeah.
is what I can think of. At least out
yeah.
of the tidbits that we have gotten, that is what I'm thinking. Like of the tidbits we have
Right.
gotten, I can only think that would be the related scenario.
Well, and even in that show that Katie and I used to watch, The Night Shift, they even did some scenes where some of the doctors were actually trained
Oh yeah,
to be field medics for the SWAT team. So when the SWAT team
Yeah.
would go out, there would be a medic on site in case something happened. So it's not surprising. But yeah, I hope it's gonna be, cool. Like, I don't know. I never know with all this show. And
yeah.
like, I know they're gonna give us good stuff. I'm just excited to see what that is.
Yeah. And like it's funny because there's different scenes from like the promos, and people are like, "Oh, to run it. Oh, like is this in this episode?" Like and stuff. And
Why is
like
he so good at staying out of spoiler tail this year?
he's starting to get back in there because he says like one night before, like before he signed off, he was just like, "Yep, episode 4 is going to be one of the greatest talkless episodes of all time. Good night."
And
And
it's airing on Valentine's Day.
okay, that's coincidental because they moved it, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, we're getting a Valentine's episode." No, we're not.
I would love it if we got a Valentine's episode, but if it's simply because they moved it, then
It's not gonna happen because,
that's
like,
coincidental.
first of all,
It'll probably still be great, but
last season they said, "Oh, we're not gonna do holiday episodes." So, and it was on
Right.
Valentine's Day last year.
we're
So
losing
it's
out.
and the
Yeah.
fact that they moved it, like, it would be coincidental because it wouldn't have been episode 4 wouldn't have been on Valentine's Day
Right.
prior.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, we know about like the SWAT thing. We know that like TK, like the Andrea Gabriel scenes like with TK sort of it's been talked about and
Mm.
stuff.
There's a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And like we are just getting like a bunch of different
Right.
things. And I don't know. Like it's a lot. But I honestly, this is probably the first year where I don't really have that many theories. And I think that has to do with the fact that like end of season 3, we got the proposal, we got to like celebrate that a bit, and there wasn't really any like big things hanging over us.
Mm-hmm.
They
It was
wrapped it up
closed up.
pretty nicely.
Where
Yeah.
season 2 to 3, obviously we had like the 126 hanging over our heads.
Right.
Like, are we gonna
Yeah.
get that back? Which we knew we would, but like, and then we had like Owen punching Billy, that kind of storyline hanging over us. We had a lot more
Yes.
hangover, so there's a lot more to think about. So I don't really have really a lot. I was thinking the other day more about like the Carlos Iris theory, and I was like, okay, like I don't know. Like to me, like that is just like I feel like Carlos goes into that building not having to talk to her in years, and like Carlos finds her and is like, oh, it's Iris
Right.
and stuff. And then the fact of like the picture that announced her in the loft, that is
Mhm.
like after that whole scenario. I don't think that's like before then this happens. At least that's what I think.
Mhm.
And like I'm starting to like think more about like Carlos and Iris because I honestly think they're the same age, and I think maybe they were friends first before Michelle and Carlos.
I find it
Possible.
likely.
I
Like
honestly,
honestly, we just don't know much behind Michelle and Carlos's friendship.
right.
So
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. We could save that for a different day.
Yeah. But I don't have a ton of theories. I'm just excited for it to come back. I feel like we've been waiting a really long time for it, and it did end at the end of May. So we've had like 6.5 months now since it last aired. So I'm excited for it to return. I definitely want to see elements of both TK and Carlos's faith and religion and spirituality and family traditions in their wedding. I don't want it to just be a very simple. I want it to be like some Jewish elements maybe, and some Mexican, and some maybe some of Carlos's Catholic stuff, traditions,
Right.
to blend them together, not just to have it be your standard wedding. And it's gonna
I
be
do love watching blended religious weddings.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, like honestly, we also don't know how religious they are, so
Right.
it'll also
Yeah.
depend because
Yeah.
we don't know if they are really like because it's been mentioned, but we also don't know like how religious they are.
Yeah.
I would love to see either a blended religious wedding or not religious at all. Because I don't
Right.
want it to stick with one.
Right.
And I don't think they
exactly.
will. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think either of them could if they do identify as religious at all.
Right.
Like, it goes against religion as a whole. Granted, a lot of religions also don't really favor inter-religious marriage, but whatever.
Right.
That
Yeah.
is beside the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to see, something, because we don't know a lot about Carlos and his family. We can make assumptions, but
Right.
you know, I'm excited. Well, I say that a lot apparently. Just I'm looking
It's
forward
exciting.
to seeing it. And I was like, there was a brief part of me that I was like, when Ronan was teasing about episode 4 now being on Valentine's Day, I'm like, well, is that the Tarlos wedding then?
I
Or
don't
we
think
have
they
it later in
filmed
the
it,
season?
honestly.
I don't
I
know.
think it'd be a little. I'm sort of expecting it to be at the end of the season.
See, I don't know. Like a lot of people are saying that, but I also don't necessarily. I don't know. Everyone was well because Ronan posted like, "Oh, these are my favorite episodes," and somebody's like, "Oh, well, I think if these are the favorites, then I think 8 is the wedding." I'm like,
But also, they haven't filmed everything yet.
Yeah, they just went back to work like yesterday.
yeah. Well, I think they had filmed up to a certain. Obviously, if he was saying 8, like a couple weeks ago,
So they
obviously
filmed
they
up to
filmed it.
halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I think it'll be maybe later. I don't know. I don't think they filmed it because I think if they filmed it, we would have known.
I don't think
somehow.
it's as soon. Yeah.
I don't
don't
necessarily
think it's
think end
as
of the
soon as
season.
the. I don't think it's as soon as like the middle, like the midway part. I just think it's later. I don't know. Like end of the season is a good place to have it, but like I'd settle just for later in the season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I
to
don't
see.
want it to be very soon. I want to see a lot of wedding preparation. And obviously they have to get over whatever is happening that
Right.
causes drama in them
Mhm.
first.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess we'll see on that one, but
And I
Mhm.
do need to see them exhibit good communication skills.
Right.
yeah.
Please. Like they're fairly good about communicating, but
Yeah, they
clearly it sometimes does not work out. So
Which that's pretty normal for people.
that is
I feel
any
like.
couple, but like let's just see them work through it.
Right, exactly. And I always love hearing like what people have to say, which I thought this one was very interesting. So I do want to share like a little theory somebody had. The first one is just like not I'm just laughing because it's just like this is not happening, but here we are. We're going off very strong. Michelle is dead, gonna be killed off because I don't see
The heck?
how they're going to bring Iris back in a present storyline without her. Okay, I don't agree because I feel that like, you know, she's been gone for seasons. It is what it is. And yes, bringing Iris back is random, but that's just doesn't just because Michelle's gone doesn't mean Iris can't come back. We also don't know like the relationship of Iris and Carlos. Like, I honestly do strongly think that they were friends first and that they're the same age and stuff. So, like, you know, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So
I
that
mean,
was
they
interesting.
didn't. Season 1, they didn't really. Carlos was just more of a supporting character, supporting Michelle in her search. But we
Mhm.
didn't really get any hints that Carlos and Iris were very connected, but that doesn't mean they couldn't backtrack on that.
They
It'd be a little
could.
odd if they backtrack, but
It would be
like
too
there
odd.
wasn't not enough because he wasn't prevalent enough in the first season to make it unbacktrackable, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Carlos was either there for Michelle or there for TK in the first season. I don't really.
Yeah.
And like
He wasn't there
also
as himself.
I
Yeah.
also like think the reason why, like, I don't know. Personally, whenever Carlos was there, Michelle was there, it was all about Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things were left out because of that. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know. When I look back on their friendship, I'm like, that was just such a weird friendship because I felt like everything was always about her.
It was. That was how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I
And
love
it's
how
just-
even Carlos calls her out on it.
Yeah, because like if I'm looking at that friendship the whole season, I'm like, okay, you just care about you. That's why a lot of people didn't like Michelle.
But also at the same time, like, yeah, there was just a lot going on. The very debatable topic. I'm not fully wrong on either side, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just gonna be very interesting.
It is. And then somebody said, I think that the Carlos Iris plotline, the Owen plotline with the FBI agent, and Tommy plotline with DW Woodside's character are all connected. I just in general think that I don't know. DW Woodside's character is suspicious as hell. He seems just too good to be true. A preacher who's single, raising a kid, and happens to move in town when those out-of-pocket things start happening. Too much of a coincidence. Okay, I don't necessarily agree just because, okay, like, people get divorced, first of all.
Yeah.
People are single dads, second of all. I don't think that's completely random.
No, that's not very random at all.
For things to be connected, I get that, but like we don't know. No, and I don't necessarily think he's suspicious. We don't know. We really don't know.
The only thing I can see him being brought in for, quite frankly, I could see him being brought in as a love interest for Tommy.
That's what I figured he was coming in for.
That's it. Like, that's all I see. Doesn't mean he couldn't have some other part. That's just all I'm seeing at the moment, because that seems to tick a lot of boxes. A reason that would be.
Yeah, and I know he's gonna take place in this. He's gonna be part of like what happens in the storm. Like he's gonna be there. So I think that's possibly. We also don't know. Is this like a one episode thing? Is this a multi-episode thing? We don't know.
Right.
But that's I don't know. It's a little.
It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have a lot of questions answered and a lot more questions with no answers yet. So
yeah,
we'll get what we get when we get it.
Right. And then the last one is Carlos' secret has to do with his past, and that's why Iris is being brought back in the present timeline. I don't know if that's gonna have to do with her or if it's just coincidental. I don't necessarily.
I mean, depending on how closely they were connected, like if your theory is right and Iris and Carlos were friends first, she might know. I don't know. I feel like there are just a lot of missing links. And I don't think Iris is the missing link to everything. I feel like she's being made out to be in some of these. I'm not sure she's going to be as big a character as everyone thinks.
I think so too, because like everyone's like, oh my god, Iris is back. Oh my god, she's gonna be like this. This is the huge thing we're looking for. And I don't necessarily think that's all connected.
Like, I'm going to be a little dubious if she becomes any bigger character than she's in for a couple episodes.
Right.
Like, she's a random character to bring back, for one thing.
Right.
And there's no real emotional connection to her. So if they start trying to blow up into being a bigger character, I'm just not going to float with it too much.
The only thing I feel with that, though, is she and Carlos seem like they're closer in age than Michelle and Carlos seemed in age.
Yeah, like, okay, Michelle seems like she's closer in age to Owen. Okay, definitely, because her and Billy dated.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Why did you have to remind me that existed?
Sorry.
I just managed to purge my brain of that. I literally forgot that it happened.
I love that I did that, though.
She was closer. Yeah, she's closer to Owen's age. So, and it's like, her sister is definitely a lot younger.
So she'd be like late 30s, 40s-esque to conceivably have dated. I wouldn't put her quite in the 50s or anything, but
no,
I'd say she's
I would
in
put her
40s.
like early 40s.
At least 40s. And I mean,
I forget.
Okay, the ages of people is so weird because like we just found out last season that Paul's in his late 30s.
Yeah.
Which
like,
isn't weird, but
like early 30s.
That Judd and Paul
late
were both
20s
born
easy.
in 83. Not a bad. That was a good year, just saying.
Oh yeah. Which we kind of knew that because like they've both been in the job a long time, but like it's just interesting seeing the ages that we do know. Like I just find that so fascinating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's always fun to debate because like there's a few people we don't know their age, like Carlos. We don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I don't have a thing against. I have friends that are like 20 years older than me, and I have friends that are a lot younger. I mean, you guys are several years younger than me, and we're awesome friends. I have like, like age doesn't matter. I just, for Carlos and Michelle, I kind of feel like there definitely was somebody else that kind of connected them together, and it may have been Iris, but there may have been something else completely, that connected them. It could have been their jobs. So I will wait to make my thoughts and opinions closer to when we have that. And I'd rather react to what they give us than guess on that.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like it'll definitely be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they give us. I don't know. I'm excited for everything. Yeah, it is. And by the time this airs, we'll have a week.
Yay!
Yay.
Yes. So
And we
excited.
are gonna have an episode the day that the show airs too.
Yeah. Let's
Mhm.
just be clear. We're gonna have episodes every single Tuesday. You know,
Yeah.
you're on out.
Literally all that changed was the day that we're posting to fit with Lone Star's timeline.
Mhm.
Nothing else is different. Every week.
Every single week.
Which is exciting.
Yes.
Mhm.
We're staying consistent because we want you guys to have consistent content.
And quite frankly, we enjoy what we do.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us and listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Anchor. We're also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and anywhere you can get your podcasts. On iTunes and Spotify, please rate us. It means a lot to us. You guys can follow the podcast on our socials at 91LS Roundup on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Be sure to join our Discord server. The link is in the description of this podcast and our Instagram bio. You guys can follow me, Katie, at Tarlos on Instagram and TikTok.
You guys can follow me, Grace, at RunRafa911 on Instagram and at CheapGirl31 on Twitter.
You can follow me, EJ, at EJ8302 on Instagram and Twitter. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.